Hey, welcome to Neversink Farm. I have a bed I just turned over, so I'm gonna prep it for, I'm gonna experiment with little plantings of paper pot in another video, which you can watch, but I thought I'd talk about how to prepare a bed for planting with the paper pot transplanter. Paper pot transplanter is just gonna work so much better if there's no rocks or just a bunch of junk in the bed. If that's something you normally have in your bed, you probably want to get rid of that. It's going to make for a better farm, more productive, more money, more efficiency if you get rid of it anyway. It's not something you should have in a bed, but that's a step you want to take. This was just turned over, so we put some compost down. The beds are loose. If your beds aren't loose, then you're going to want to use a tilther. Here's the Iconoclast tilther. To just loosen it up a bit, you're going to get a much better result if you do that. You know, and if it's a very young bed or it's early in the season and it's compacted, then a good broad forking is only going to help. Right? You want an airy bed. You don't need it like, you know, tiller fluffed or anything. That's probably going to be too soft for a transplanter. I think no-till beds are really good for a paper pot transplanter because they're solid, yet have a lot of air, because the top's been worked, because you have a plow that needs to get through, and you have little fingers that need to bring the soil back on the plant. So two of those things you want to work well. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of mixing in because there's still a little bit of chunks of compost. Then I'm gonna roll it because I just think it leaves better lines for the gritter. But it's certainly not a necessary step. I just want the planting straight, and that's just the gritter's just gonna help. I'm already saving tons of time with the transplanter, so it's no big deal. But the bed roll is really good for just making things nice and flat, getting rid of any lines. Great for after seeding, especially with one of those little 4-row transplanters. I like to use a gritter, not for the grid, but for the line, so I can know exactly where to use the transplanter. You know, sometimes I can be really good without it as long as I have a string, but you know, I want to do it the same every time so that when other workers do it, they're using one as well. I'm always straight when I have the gritter. All right, so once I got my gritter in, you can actually get rid of this string now. Now you have your beautiful lines, you can see it. And you're gonna plant really, really straight, and should be no problem. One thing I should show you is, you see how when I get to the end of the bed, you see I'm gonna get right into the cabbage down there? Well, how do I end that? Well, I'm gonna show you because I'm gonna do that with a zipper. It's just a great method. I saw a farm do it in New York and I was like, man, I should have been doing that the whole time. You know, sometimes you just don't think it's, even though I developed the zipper to help plant paper pots. So I'm gonna grab the zipper now and I'm gonna show you how I do that. Okay, so you can see at this end, boom, I got some cabbage plants here, and there's no way to just continue and plant. Well, no problem. The magic is being prepared, knowing when it's gonna happen. So you just gotta prep the bed first. So all you do is you just use this to create a trench. Okay, I don't know, is that 4 or 5 feet long? Just long enough for the transplanter to sit in. and for you to be able to plant the paper pots by just lifting the transplanter out, which I'll definitely show you. But you see I got my my planting furrows. I'll leave that here and I'll show you what's up. Okay, so the plow is sitting right under here, right? When I get to here, none of this can be plowed, but the zipper already did it. So I bring it down. Now it's sitting in that chute. The whole thing is plowed, right? I just rip this where it's at, right? I can fold that forward just to get it out of the way. Okay, lift this up, move over, stick that in the trench, right? See, I'm still lined up with the gritter thing, right? Then, now I just take that little end piece, okay? And all I do is I set that in the trench that I had already previously made, okay? Then, you can see, right? Now I just zip it back. Done. I usually do it all at the end, but I wanted to show you because I'm going to do the same thing here at this end. But the nice thing is, see, now when I start, usually there's no trench over here, right? So you gotta dig it out with your hands or something, but now there's a trench here that I would not have had, right? So I'm taking the transplants and I stick them in that trench. They're already in the trench, and the fingers, right, they're going to bury them, right? Because usually you're starting outside the row and bringing it in, but no longer necessary. Okay, and since the trench is a little wide, you know, that's just because the ground is wet, right? You can always fix things too if you need to with the zipper, just at this end part, and you're good to go.